Assalamualaikum ji, this is Azaan Sami Khan and you're watching me on the E Show, only on Womanly.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the E Show.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
How are you?
Good, good. Whoever's watching this is a very strange interview for me because I've seen Isha grow up.
Yeah.
I've literally maybe even carried you as a kid at some point.
Yeah, he is my brother from another mother.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You guys always see me rooting on my stories for him. But it's because we don't spend a lot of time together, but I always know, like, I feel like I have a deeper connection with you, and I always know that, you know, you're going to be there for me.
Since you were born, I remember my mom would always say to me that, you know, she's your god sister, and if she ever needs anything, you have to take care of her. So that's always been there. So
Yeah.
this is just a bit strange because it's like now she's interviewing me. It's a bit surreal, but it's amazing. I'm really happy with everything.
No, Zeba Khala also always, you know, approaches me saying, "Oh, this is my goddaughter." Like whenever her and I like go like outside somewhere to eat or something, and someone comes up, she's like, "Oh, this is my goddaughter." And this is my goddaughter. So I was like, so you have been behind the camera. You know, you've been a music composer, director, producer, and then now you have ventured out into becoming an actor. So how has that played differently for you? Like how do you?
It's strange when you say it like that.
Which one do you prefer more?
I don't think it's a thing of preference. I think it is more when you've been affiliated with a medium, let's say, speaking of filmmaking or storytelling in that manner as a medium. I think I was very fortunate that I got to work in different departments for whatever reason I did. I did, you know, as they say, you know, you connect the dots backwards. So when I look back and I realized that all of those steps, particularly stuff like, and I didn't really direct, I dabbled in like music videos when I was a teenager, short films and things like that, which I think a lot of people who are learning about the industry, they do. So, and then, but music composing is something I still do. That's the first thing I did. It's my primary job per se. But it allowed me to understand how the whole machine works. When I meet actors, some actors who are very, very accomplished and great at their skill, because they haven't spent that time, let's say, behind the camera from a direction standpoint or a production standpoint. Music though is still a separate thing. They sometimes don't understand how everything falls into place. And it really is that, you know, whether it's a drama, whether it's a film, a series, a music video, a song even. It's never one person's baby. One person can be the face of it or get notoriety because of it, but it's always several factors that fall into place, and then we watch something that we like. You know, the script has to be good, but if the script's good, it's not well directed, then it's not going to be good. If it's well directed and the script's good, but it's not performed well, it's not going to be good. If it's well directed and acted and written, but the post-production and the editing is not good, it won't do well. And then once all of that is fine, and if the film is not marketed and mounted, or the television series is not promoted and marketed and put out correctly, it may not do as well as it's supposed to do. Hence, each stage matters, and I'm very fortunate that maybe because of the family I belong to or whatever it is, I got to see a lot of those things before I became an actor, which allowed me to today when I'm on set and if I'm doing, let's say, a scene between a boy and girl, that's a romantic scene. Because I've sat in an edit room knowing that this shot will 90% make it to the trailer or the promo, hence this shot matters very much, or this dialogue of this scene matters very much because this is going to be pivotal for the editor in the episode or in the promos or just to make the story come together. That understanding would not have been there if I was just an actor, you know, or if I had not experienced those things. And I think that is absolutely the privilege somebody like myself who comes from a family in the industry has. And I think that is where it helps me. So as I said, it's not a choice point of preference. It is the importance of each step of the process. And I think I give credit to my mother for this, that she shoved me into edit rooms when I was very young, made me understand. She always used to say to me that a cinematographer can make or break someone's career. and I didn't ever understand this. Where I was like, how,
Yeah.
you know, but now I realize they can. It's
Yeah.
the slightest angle change, and I may not look very good, or I may look pretty bad, or my entire expression that I maybe worked really hard on, it's not going to come across. And
Yeah.
so those things, I think, are part of the process. So it's not a choice, point of preference. At this stage, I love the job so much that if I couldn't do acting, I'd do some other area
In the same field. Yeah.
I started off with editing. That's what I started learning initially. But I would do whatever I'm allowed to do.
Yeah. So what has been your trickiest scene till date to shoot on screen?
I haven't shot that many. I've done one project. I found the simple scenes very difficult. Like,
because you have to play them very effortlessly, and
Yeah.
to mimic the effortlessness is
So I found like a scene where I have to come home and tell my mom that आज खाने में क्या पका है. Very difficult. But I would sit, and because in a drama that spans over several episodes,
Yeah.
you have to do that many times.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I make this sound interesting without me just being repetitive and doing the
Yeah.
same thing again and being fake?
Yeah.
Because in real life, many times you'll come home and you're not gonna, in a jovial manner, be like,
Yeah.
आज खाने में क्या पका है?
Yeah.
So
You just open the fridge and check.
Open the fridge and check, or whatever there is, you'll eat it, or
Yeah.
whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of scenes I found very tricky, where I was like, I would panic literally, while like crying scenes or fighting scenes and stuff, they were
Yeah.
still comparatively, I found I got a lot of help in those scenes, because all the actors and my director and producer, everybody knew that ये मुश्किल scene है,
Yeah.
तो इसके लिए they would stand with you. But those scenes, everyone's like, ये तो मतलब kitchen
हर
का scene
कोई
है
कर
इसमें,
रहा
या dining table का scene है इसमें, कौन सी बड़ी बात है. So I felt very alone in those scenes, and I remember like worrying, stressing out about them a lot. Yeah.
So when you were done shooting Ishkela, when after that were you like, okay, now I can breathe? Because like when your first project's coming out, and also that in which you're the main character and everybody's going to see, and it's on one of the biggest channels of Pakistan, so you're very nervous. So when after that you're like, okay, now I'm calm, I'm not nervous, I can breathe,
I have two sides to me. There's a side to me who's super micromanagey and super like has issues with everything that I'm doing, and I have my team that I work with constantly calling them and nagging them 2 a.m. saying, listen, I think that 44 seconds or 46 seconds of that is really bad, and they're like, bro, who cares, kind of thing. And then I have a side of me who just doesn't care, where I just don't think too much, and maybe I'm a Gemini, so I oscillate between these two people very strongly, where it's either going to be me caring about every detail of everything to a unhealthy manner, honestly speaking, and caring कि फलाने ने ये किया उस scene के अंदर, और मैंने it's just too much, or even in a song, like it's overly analyzing it, and then there's that I don't want to use the word, but like
I get
effort
the
side to it, where I don't care. People, if you're like, if you mean like people saying stuff and the pressure of it.
No, like internally, when like because at times people are really hard on themselves when something on like this is coming out. So when did you give yourself some time to breathe, that now, okay, just relax, and I can be easy with it because now it's all done? And
so honestly speaking, and I mean this in all humility, I haven't met anybody who's harder on me than I am. That's the thing. I'm to a point where I have to stop myself, because I can be almost dangerously harsh with myself. I'm not one of those people who lives under any illusion ke main to flana dhamaka, all of that at all. The first person who will notice a flaw in something of mine will be me, and if I don't notice it, I'll be mad at myself why I haven't noticed it. Like for instance, if I see a troll that says something that I haven't noticed, I'll be mad that I'm probably the biggest troll. You know what I'm saying? Where if I had to troll somebody, I would be so nasty. So and I do that to myself. So when I like literally 9 or 10 times, if I see a troll's written something, I'm like, I knew that, you know. So it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
You know, if they're like, he did this, I'm like, yeah, bro, I know, I have to fix it. You know.
Yeah.
And that actually helps me. It's a very dangerous quality to have as well, because at times you can burn out very fast, because you're just, you know, we're all human beings. There's only a limit to which you can push yourself, and it does start taking its toll. So in that manner, the pressure I'm aware of. You know, I'm aware of it, and then my coping mechanism is those two people I oscillate between.
Yeah.
You know.
So when you were shooting Ishkela, or when you were given the script or the narration or whatever, what resonated with you to make you do that? You know, because I'm sure that that's not the first script that was offered to you. You know, you had to sort of choose between. And
so honestly, it was one of the few scripts that were offered to me. This is something which I think people.
But what made you gravitate more towards that character?
So I am at the start of my career. So any good project that comes your way, you'd want to do. It's not like I was shopping through 10 options. That wasn't the case. I'm grateful to anybody who wanted to work with me. So that wasn't, it wasn't like I had an array of options. I was like, but the one thing that did strike a very strong chord in me was what the project was trying to say. You know, I still believe that I want to do work that in some way or the other says the right thing. Not necessarily play the right character, कि जी मैं सिर्फ अच्छा बंदा play करूँगा and all of that. It's more, does the project in its entirety say something that I believe in? Doesn't have to be some serious, you know, pseudo lecture at all. But Ishkela was a journey of a guy finding God. And from almost a place of atheism and not believing at all. And I'm someone I'm a Muslim. I believe strongly in my religion and my faith, and it resonated with me, you know. And similarly, it's something which tomorrow, if there's a project that is as simple as, you know, teaching younger people to wear a seatbelt, you know, and I have to be the bad guy in it. I don't mind being the bad guy. I just,
as long as the message is being sent across.
Something good is being said. Essentially, I believe in that. I believe that, you know, it doesn't have to be the world-saving message, but it should be something that in some way I contributed in some manner. So Ishkela definitely did that. Then there are a whole list of great things that were associated with the project. So
I felt like with the character Azaan, there was a sense of heroism, you know, attached to it. And when I was watching a few clips of your drama, I felt like that heroism was brought very effortlessly, very unintentionally. Like you even didn't know that it's coming out, you know? That's what I felt. And I feel like he gave sort of a conventional playboy, you know, esque to his personality at the beginning, and then conventionally his growth was sown so beautifully across, you know, towards the course of the end of the drama. So how do you like manage to do all of that? Because
I don't think
it's your first play and it's done remarkably well. So how do you like do that?
Honestly, as you said, it's my first play, so I would have less to do with it. It's more to do with my director, how the production company and the producer envisioned it, the script most importantly, that it had that written, so you saw it or felt it, and then my co-actors and whoever did the post-production, you know, edit and all of that stuff, which made people feel that. I don't think, as I said, I didn't know anything going in. Like I knew, it was funny because before the first day, I remember I had this confidence in me कि मैंने तो बड़ा time camera के पीछे गुजारा है, मैं तो आराम से कर लूँगा. And that wasn't the case, because you know, suddenly all your inhibitions and your insecurities and all, they start surfacing because you're in front of the camera now. And I felt very, very raw and new, and a lot of those experiences of my behind the camera days just flew out the window, and I was very nervous and all of that. So if you're feeling that, I really think it's credit to everybody involved, not much to me. And this is not me trying to be humble or trying to, you know, sugarcoat things. It's true, because now when I think of very basic things in future projects, I'm like, how am I going to do this? Because I don't have a developed toolkit.
Formula to your craft.
Exactly, or toolkit where I'm like, अच्छा romantic scene ये करेंगे, ये tool निकालेंगे, गुस्से में आना है, ये करना है. You know, it's not there. So I don't know what I'm going to do next in terms of performance. If it's going to be convincing, which I hope, you know, it is.
If you are given like sort of a role of method acting or like a comedy, something very different from what you've done now, would you take up on the opportunity?
So comedy is
very
scariest.
Difficult.
You know, one of my favorite actors, two people of all time.
Yeah.
One would be Charlie Chaplin, and two would be Rowan Atkinson, who plays Mr. Bean and stuff.
Yeah.
It's unbelievably difficult. Like when I watch them now, that there's like I saw the show he did recently on Netflix, Man vs. Bee.
Yes.
And some people liked it, some people didn't. I was just blown away by somebody who can hold the screen alone. And he's probably the only actor of this era who is known in every country that doesn't speak English as well. And how the olden times, you know, actors like Chaplin, all these guys used to be, because he has this ability to act through his whole body. And you know,
have you seen Jim Carrey's work? I think he's a phenomenal actor.
But that's what I'm saying, right? It's very difficult. Like when, so for me, I really want to dabble in comedy. Definitely, but, and I think Pakistan is notoriously known to be very good at comedy. Dialogue, all of those things. So I'd love to do it. It's just, you know, it will be at the top of the nervous barometer for me. Because the worst thing is if you crack a joke and it doesn't land, right? It's the worst. Like if you're sitting with four friends and you crack a joke and you think you're funny and it's not funny, that's the worst.
It happens to me a lot.
Okay, I'm sorry. But it's a scary situation, right?
It is.
So imagine doing that for like 2 hours or an hour. Like
in front of the whole world.
In front of the whole world, cracking jokes, nobody's laughing.
Okay. So how diverse are you willing to be, you know, for a character?
What do you mean by diverse?
As in taking up multiple roles which are not conventionally the, you know, boy next door, you know, good character. Like you said, you're willing to do the villain, but are you willing to maybe play a differently abled character, you know, like any of these characters which are very sensitive, but not a lot of people are willing to bring that into their sort of, you know, resume?
Okay. Let me break it down. Firstly, I don't look at anything I do, whether it's a song, whether it's a character, from the place of, is this going to make me look like this? I don't care.
That's good.
I don't care. You know, people go like, यार वो तुम ये इस तरह के कपड़े पहना करो हीरो लगता है, मुझे नहीं लगना यार, माफ कर दो मुझे, मतलब मैं ऐसे ही हूँ, and you know, that's how I am. So that's not, I don't look at it from that lens that 25 heroes in the past have done this to get to that mountain, tip of the mountain, I must follow that. No. I think those 25 heroes did good work, which is why they reached, for whatever that means for them. I want to do good work. And that's for me the most important thing, and I hope Allah allows me to do that. I would love to play characters of people's journeys, whatever they may be, differently abled, victims of different kinds, 100%. As long as I know I can do justice to the particular
message,
the particular person, you know, and I don't make it caricaturish, or I don't make it shallow in understanding. Like I think mental health or disabilities many times in the past, much better now, but many times in the past have been depicted incorrectly, you know, or the actors played it correctly, but the surrounding characters say things that further reinforce incorrect messaging towards a problem. You know what I'm saying? And there's several things like that, you know, being on the spectrum, etc., right? You'll have characters jo unke ird-gird ke hain ke maybe the person playing the character has done an accurate job, but the people around them make the ailment seem like a problem, you know. And do you get what I'm saying? Where we have to be more accepting that some things that should not even be called ailments. They should just be called, you know, we call them differently abled, and that is the correct term to use. And so I would like to do justice to the characters. And so I'm not gonna, if for some reason I don't do a character like that.
So you mean like to bring inclusivity?
Bring inclusivity also. What I can very clearly say that if there's a good script that has a character like that, I'd love to do it. I would never not do it because of the character. I would not do it because I feel that either the whole story doesn't do justice to the problem, because the moment you talk about a different character like that,
Yeah.
the responsibility of everybody making it heightens greatly.
Yeah.
You know, from doing the angry young man to the boy next door,
Yeah.
suddenly you have to depict these things correctly, because
Yeah.
in whatever small form we are doing, we are influencing society in some manner, however small that is. So it
Yeah.
becomes a responsibility, and I would love to do it 100%. I would just want everything to add up, including my ability as a skill. If I feel कि यार मैं ये सही से नहीं कर पाऊंगा, and in doing so I may hurt the community or hurt people who belong to that, that would be wrong with me.
Yeah, I think this is a very, very beautiful way
for sure.
of, you know, sort of bringing that up. I didn't even look at it like that. Yeah, that's very, very.
It's just my perspective, maybe I'm wrong, but it's just, it has to be done correctly. You know,
Yeah.
it's similar when we watch, it's a much different, way different issue. When we watch a brown person depicted in the West, 9 or 10 times it's wrong.
Yeah.
Like 9 or 10 times wrong.
Yeah.
And it directly affects us.
Yeah.
You know, and it affects us, and in whatever small way, the people who watch that film or show will go and think of us like that.
Yeah.
Even if it's 10 people, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and then you'll have shows like Miss Marvel and stuff like that that do it correctly, very, very well,
Yeah.
and or comparatively much better, and then they also influence in a good way. You
Yeah.
know? So the effect of that is in everything.
Growing up, you haven't had a very conventional household where, you know, the two parents live together, and you have been in India for a couple of time and then back to Pakistan, and, you know, life hasn't been very easy. And my mother and I have sort of, you know, witnessed that and seen you, I can't say seen you grown up, but like, you know, since I was a child, I've seen you. So it's very hard to stay focused and not let all of this get to your head when you're from such a star family, and from both sides of your parents, and then not only see Lollywood but also see Bollywood, and, you know, be surrounded by very, very famous people all your life. How did you not let that get to your head? And also, like, how did you stay focused and, you know, loyal to your path?
I don't think, I think obviously credit to God and my mom after that, you know. If I have stayed loyal to my path in that manner, I don't know, I think we're all discovering our path as we go along. Thank you for saying that, firstly. I think...
sorry, I'm cutting you off, but is it because that was your normal? You know,
yeah,
because
so that's
everybody's normal is
so that's what I'm
very subjective.
Yeah, so for instance, like I find that I started working when I was very young, and or by working I mean like shadowing or assisting and stuff like that. And for me, being on set or being in a studio is one of the most comforting environments ever. If I don't go to the studio, or if I'm not, if I don't go to a set for very long, I get very uneasy. Sometimes, like I sleep better if when I'm sleeping over there. If I fall asleep on set, or I fall asleep in a studio, I will sleep better, because I have so many memories of like finishing school and going to my mom, and then she's shooting all night, and I'm there with her and all that. So it is normal for me. And this is going to sound very privileged and very first worldly, but people who are part of this work, they are normal for me.
Yeah.
Whilst sometimes sitting in a room with like 4 friends of mine from school, having a normal conversation about life is very strange. And it's not, I don't mean that in a, I want to be part of that. I want to understand that better. But it's just not been that way. So, and luckily my mom guided me very, you know, in some ways sternly of what is right and wrong within this industry, and I'm grateful to her for that. But there are times when I haven't had that exposure as much. So I remember that, for instance, even now, like if my cousins invite me, if I'm traveling somewhere, my cousins are there and they invite me to go and watch a film, I'm socially awkward. Like I don't know what to talk about because we're not talking about movies or music or what next thing you're shooting or something like that. So I find myself socially awkward. It's a small price to pay, but it is there and it is normal for me. And so it's that. I find my kids personally, they have severe first world problems. You know, they see my, work, or they see my music videos, or they see, anything I do, and they have seen those people around me as friends. So they think कि मैंने अजान कि बाबा ने अपने दोस्तों को अपने काम में हायर कर लिया क्योंकि और कोई काम नहीं करना चाह रहा था इनके साथ. And that is why they
little do they know
they don't get it, right? And it's like almost second generation now because it was similar to me. All the uncles and aunties and bhais and behens for me were, now when I look back, very celebrated, very well known people.
So do you see Lily and Ibu sort of, as a parent, do you sense certain things that you once had in you when you were growing up? Like in terms of, like you said, they have certain like first world, things going on. So do you sense them that you can sense better than an outsider who hasn't experienced that?
I think when they were younger, I used to assume much more, which was wrong of me. I think they are very individual in themselves. Yes, there's certain things that I will maybe put my finger on faster than someone otherwise, but their mother and myself, we have kept them a bit sheltered from, it's not like they're going to set with me every day or going to studios and stuff, right? They know this is what our dad does or what our dadi did or what our dada does. They're aware of it, but it's not like it's at the back of their mind. So they have the individuality, certain little things that I would notice that are maybe just personality things that are passed on genetically, but not more than that.
So you're a single parent, and how do you think your approach in parenting has changed after becoming one?
I think fatherhood specifically is a moving target. It's not a, you assume that it's Amrish Puri Saab in the movie being like the father who will, or Bachchan Saab in a film. But it's not that. It's, I feel it's, you become a mom and then you evolve, I'm sure, once you've, carried the child and had the child and stuff. But I think a father is something that time teaches you, and obviously God teaches you. And it's as I said, it's a moving target. It's not a place. It's every day it's a new journey, and I think getting through that journey in the best possible way, as the best human being you could be, following principles taught to you, is how you get to what you would call maybe being a decent or a good father or whatever it is. So it is challenging, but it is a challenge that is my favorite challenge. So
I've seen you with Lily and Ibu, and you're so attentive, and one is nagging and the other one's crying, and they're fighting together, and
But that's the thing. Maybe I've had very, very good role models as parents in my life that I've seen. For instance, my mom, right? My mom, because my father wasn't around for a certain portion of my life, and she played both roles, and I saw how she switched between both of them. She would be mom when I needed her to be, and she would be dad when I needed her to be, and I learned from that. And now when I look back, like I don't think I haven't met a parent that is more exemplary than her in numerous ways. So anything I do with my kids is picking small parts of what she did with me and trying to follow them. Nothing as such of my own. Because she was so...
You know how there's so much ignorance when it comes to male body dysmorphia, and do you feel like when you lost all of this sudden weight, that it wasn't sudden, like it was over a period of time, when you lost all of this weight, do you feel like people started treating you differently?
So it's interesting because where to start? Like, life question. I think not to blame anybody, but this is an aesthetic profession. I'm a bit introverted. Maybe not. I don't seem so. I probably do. But so it's not like I'm going out a lot. So I would always. I remember I would like go out every. Like I'd meet like one or two of my close friends, but I would like go out maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, and in 2-3 weeks you can lose like a pound or two, right? So you can see a difference. But people were always very kind, you know. They were very supportive and helpful. I don't remember anybody being discouraging or anything. Everybody was kind, and it was a fun journey. I did it initially just because I didn't like the person being overweight was making me. You know, it was making me somebody who, from a health standpoint, was like inefficient and not very productive and all of that stuff. And I know people who are would conventionally be considered bigger, and they're happy and they're super productive and they you know, live their life to the max, and I think that's fine. It wasn't working for me. So when anybody asks me that, you know, oh, do you promote being thin? I'm like, no. Do you promote being overweight? I'm like, no. I'm like, I promote being healthy, and if that is what you want, you know, and then there are ways to do it. And then now, today as well, right? I do it because it's become a habit, and I enjoy it, you know, going to the gym. I'm a somewhat OCD-ish person who likes to eat the same thing regularly. So, yeah. In terms of people's behavior, I think people were kind to me about it, you know, and I think anybody...
So you didn't see any sudden shift in people?
I think it's an incorrect narrative to say that. The reason being because that feeds the next conversation, which is, oh, people judge you because you look better.
Yeah.
No. Anyone watching this who wants to lose weight, people are going to be helpful, and I'm saying that from experience. If you've been through that, you're going to say that from experience. People are going to be supportive. Yeah, you'll have those 1 or 2 friends who will say things like, "Yeah, तुम तो 10 बार diet पे गए हो, अब क्या फर्क पड़ेगा?" Okay, you shouldn't be friends with those guys in the first place, honestly speaking, because if someone's saying that, that's not helpful at all. And I learned this the hard way, that those people end up being pretty crap friends in the long run.
Toxic.
In any case. So get rid of them. Honestly, bro advice. Other than that, I think people were just helpful and kind. Anybody saw that I'd lost weight, they were super supportive, sometimes more than I had even lost, you know. So I don't have much to complain about in that sense.
Okay, so now on a lighter note, I'm going to sort of expose our family dynamic and our relationship. So what happened when I went to Canada?
So I was shooting for, I think a song or something. I wasn't in Pakistan, and I got a call from Banti Khala, who is Isha's mother, who has... I've seen her since I can remember. You know, she's one of my mom's closest friends and been a big part of our life. So Banti Khala called me, and this was at like, it's late, like 11:30,
You have to
12.
tell them like you were telling me.
So she called me at like 11:30, 12 at night, and she doesn't call me around that time, right? She'll always, you know, send a message saying call when free or whatever. So I get this call, and sounds like somebody's passed away. She's like, "Tum kidhar ho? Kya ho gaya?" And I'm like, "Is everything okay?" Isha's gone. I'm like, "Kidnapped? Like, what has happened to Isha? Is she okay?" And she's like, "She's gone to college." This is not a very, doesn't sound like an emergency to me. Doesn't sound like not even a moderately, you know, tense situation. But I think she'd probably hit her that time. And I was the person she decided to call. And she was like, "She's gone." And I don't know, I'm thinking of calling her back. And I'm like, no. Why would you call her back? I'm like, has she like run away from home or something like that? No, she's gone to school. Like, I'm like, good. It's good that she's gone to school. Stop calling her. And even, I'm going to mention the other day, and this is to all parents, we were talking about going easy on your kids. And I'm a big advocate of that. I don't know how I'm going to feel 10 years later when my kids
I was ranting to Azaan Bhai about my mother. She's a very good mom, just putting that out there. She's sitting right there and she's giving me a very deathly stare when I say this. I was just ranting to my brother about how my mom is when I'm in Canada. So
I'm not going to get the details because obviously that's their personal stuff. But I will say that parents should take it easy on their kids. I don't know if I'll feel the same when my kids are 18, 19 years old, but for now, I definitely will say go easy on them.
I feel like at that time, Lily Nibu will be like, Isha Phupo, Baba's doing this.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be like the dad who's like hiding behind the bushes and like, you know, the cap on. I wear caps
24/7
no, I'll
live
just,
location?
By then, to live location nahi hogi na, we'll probably like koi metaverse mein ghus ke unko dekh sakenge or whatever. So I'll be like, I have an avatar of some cool young guy and I'll be watching them.
Yeah.
But for now, I definitely advocate going easy on kids. My mom was very in her own way chill with me, and that helped. So, you know, I didn't really hide anything from her.
Yeah.
So I don't think you hide anything about Nikhala.
I don't. Not at this point.
Cool.
So thank you so much for being on my platform and taking time out for me. I know you're very busy, but is there any advice you have for me and for the people that are watching?
I don't know if I'm in a position to give any advice.
Of course you are.
Nothing. I think enjoy each day. I think the past 2 years have taught us that life is uncertain.
Yeah, and very unpredictable as well.
Unpredictable is uncertain. Yeah. So let's not live for tomorrow. Let's live for today. Live for today doesn't mean just party and have fun. Yeah. Live for today also means that, you know, do something every day that you should be proud of as a person, even if that means drinking enough water, you know, whatever it is, helping someone drink water, you know, whatever it is. Yeah. And that's all I would say. Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. The pleasure's all mine.